Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Money and Mindset with the doctors, Dr. Stephanie Ardrey and Dr. Thyonne Gordon. Dr. Ardrey known as Dr. Money Live and Dr. Thyonne known as Story Genius. Hey, beautiful, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've kind of settled in now that I'm really, so my
You're
mind has,
connected today. We can hear you
yes,
better.
yes,
Yes, that's
fabulous.
wonderful. Good. So
Yes.
now we could just kick it off with how was Zimbali dinner?
Molly. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. Chef Alicia. She took it up another, like she said, oh, you think that you guys came for lunch. I gave you a 4-course meal. Oh, you thought that was all I had? Oh no, I told you I create from the farm and I have creativity. So whatever they show up with as ingredients, like that show Chopped or something, the ingredients of today, I got you. And guess what? I'm adding another course. So it was a 5-course meal.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I
I
would have
think your
popped.
insides were dancing at every bite. Like each bite was a dance. Your body feels like
Wow.
you loved it for real that day.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And what did AJ think?
AJ. Sometimes, I started calling her Grasshopper, which I don't think she was too in love with, but I was like, see, Grasshopper, every now and again, a master has to bring you along. Because you turned this down for some little catamaran that was going to be some rubber something. I didn't know. I'm like, I know. But why do you guys start with no? Why don't y'all start
Oh my gosh.
with, because now Grasshopper is, oh, I see, Master, I see.
So funny. So funny.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you enjoyed it and it was just as good as the first time. And I'm glad, I hope you told all of them I said hello. I
Of
missed
course.
them.
They can't
And
wait. I already told them. They're like,
were
Marty,
you
it's like,
able,
when are you coming back? Like, what's
yeah, were you able to get Mark's information?
I
Because I
have
know we
all the
couldn't reach
information
him.
now. We're
Great.
connected now. We're good.
And was Alicia there?
Yes, she was. Yes, she was. She wrote to us before retiring. You could tell it had been a long day trying to finish up
Okay.
with little Mark Lyon.
Oh my
Little
gosh, I love him. I love him so much. He was so cute. That's the at Zimbali, the owners have a couple of children. I think they have 3 or 4 children.
They have 5 children,
And
actually.
5.
Okay, yes.
And the baby, his name was Mark Lion. And he was like a little lion running around there, reaching, causing havoc and just having himself a good old time. But boy, he was so incredibly enjoyable because he was just fun. Whenever you bring youth into the room, that essence of youth just really can uplift you, make you feel good. Does a lot for you when you appreciate it. And boy, he was crawling around. He must have been between 2 and 4. I don't know. And
Yeah, I think he said
was
he's
just
3, and he's got all that, that terrific 3
yeah.
energy.
Oh my gosh, he was just really, really amazing. And he was just pulling things down and was all boy, oh, pull it down, yank it out, tear it up, so, and laughing all along. Well, yesterday we started talking about you can't delegate your dream, which was a topic that Dr. Money came up with. And I was very enamored with the topic. And we were going in and out so much. I thought it might be nice to revisit this idea of delegating a dream. We've already talked about having a dream, having a purpose, having something that you want to come to fruition in your life, and how to start navigating that. And we gave you a couple of tools to navigate it. We've talked about keeping a gratitude journal because that allows you to kind of open up and be grateful for the things that are right in front of you. We've talked about finding some time to meditate. We actually came up with an acronym for you, right? We had KG. People are going to be KG.
Yeah.
And it was about clearing the clutter, all these different things. We gave you these these tips that you can start using, clearing out the clutter. That's the physical clutter and the other clutter in your mind. And you can do that by assessing your situation. Where are you? Figuring that out. What is it that you're doing? That G was the gratitude, taking some time every day to be grateful. The E was about executing your plan. After you started putting these things together, you're going to execute, you're going to get things done. And then the Y was all about you, because you are that unique individual that brings something different to no matter what you do, whether you have a franchise or whatever it is you have, even though it could be the same as someone else, you make the difference. And in making that difference, it's about what is in that gut. What's that hunger that you have for what it is you want to see happen in your life, what that dream is, what that purpose is. And when you're starting to take this path of being cagey and figuring out how to make this happen, you've got to know what you can give away and what you got to hold on for you. And it's really funny that you brought this up, Dr. Money, because yesterday, I've done this before, but just again, I said, okay, time for me to get another administrative assistant. I have producer people that help me. I have different people that do different things, but it's time for me to get an admin support. And I was looking at getting a virtual assistant and started going down the list of the things that they would do. And the challenge was, I try to hold on to everything. Like, no, I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do this and I have to do it. Well, I really don't have to do everything. There are some things I cannot delegate. I cannot delegate the purpose. I cannot delegate my intent. I cannot delegate that thing that I am hungry for. But the task to get that done, I can actually delegate. And so they asked me to do a list, things that I must do, things that I can give away for someone else to do. And you should see me trying to pull some of the things back. Like, it's almost like when I used to go to the altar and say, oh, Lord, please take these things. But you know what? I'm going to take this one and handle it myself. You know, be like, oh, Lord, please take this person out of my life. No, you know what? I think I'm going to do that one on my own. I got that, Lord. You let me take care of that one. So tell me a little bit more about how to figure out about delegating out what you can, but how you cannot delegate out your dream. Share a little bit about that with us.
Wonderful. Well, that was such a perfect setup. Thank you, as always. You know, you nailed it on the setup. So what I was thinking about was I was having a conversation. It started with a conversation about a couple people actually asking have any particular rituals that they follow just to reflect on their life, you know, you expect it to be along this journey called life, you know, and then are you thinking about what next, you know? So I had someone say to me, well, I don't know what's happening next in my life because, you know, God is taking care of it. And I thought, oh my God, no, that's not right. The ancestors and God and the universe are waiting to solve the how you get to where you want to go, but they don't set the exact destination. I believe that God puts it in you, some specific yearnings, and you're gifted with specific talents, and those are crumbs. It's like sort of the layers of the onion. The more you learn about you, the more you begin to learn about what makes you happy. And then you begin to realize where that happiness ties into your possibility. People do it the wrong way. They go into careers, into works, into jobs, into business, thinking about what they think somebody else told them or the job. I see so many entrepreneurs do this. They work for a company, they had a position. Then they decide to go into business and they try to make that position a business. And then it fails because that's not the order in how you create a business. A business is meant to solve a problem. So if you haven't done a survey to understand what problems are available to be solved, and more importantly, who will pay you to solve them? Because sometimes people come up with solutions for stuff that people are like, Yeah, great. But I ain't paying you for that. It's just not that big of a problem for me to pay you for that. And so what emerged for me, wow, people don't get the awareness that they're responsible for kind of setting destination. Because if that's correct, well, how did you get through college? Did you to go, you just kick back and let God take care of it, and then you figure out where you're going to end up? You can't hear me?
You were breaking up just a little bit. You said, how'd you get through college?
Right.
Talking about that destination.
Yeah. So yeah, how did you set up those plans, or something as simple as planning a trip? Do you just sit back and go, yeah, I want to go on a trip. Let's see where God takes me? No, you do not. You come up with an idea. I want to go to X, which is exactly how this conversation began, because we were all locked down on COVID. I was getting a little stir crazy and on lockdown, not seeing any clients, being in Vegas, which is new, not close to all my familiar relationships. So it really felt like I was locked down and connected from the world, if not. So after 6 months, 7 months, I'm mercy, please. If this is, leave someplace else and be online and do this, right? And Barbados said, oh, we're going to do a year visa. And so that started, I was like, oh, I'm not ready yet for a year. But what do I have to put in place so that I can be ready for that year? So I kind of started going, I was like, dang, I don't think I could do a year right now. And around that time, you were working together and you said, hey, I'm going to Jamaica. And I was like, can I? Because I was like, I know Jamaica, and Jamaica has healed me before. So maybe that island I could go to. And as much as it's not going to be a year, but initially it was a month, expanded to 6 weeks. So I think I could do that. Let's do it. Let's give it a try. And then months, here I am down almost 3 months later, finally ready to come home. But I wouldn't have been able to and have God and the universe facilitate all these other opportunities had I not made a declaration that I was looking for an opportunity. And it was an island. I gave some specific. I wanted to be on an island. I wanted to be aware. I wanted to be, familiar. I wanted to be maneuvering for an extended period of time. And if you would put that effort into planning, realize the importance of putting that much effort into planning your life. Like, to disconnect there. And so that was,
and actually it wasn't even as much effort as it was in terms of effort, in terms of, oh, I've got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this. It wasn't that type of energy effort. A lot of times we think we have to put the wheel, like we got to be on the treadmill doing this type of effort, run. It wasn't. It was the mindset effort. That's where it started. When you put it in your mind, when you get your mind fixed on what that dream is, what that purpose is, what that life is that you want to live,
yeah,
it begins to happen. That's how you manifest. The universe begins to unfold,
yeah,
and work in your favor.
I agree with you. If that's what you had before, there's no distinction between something you want or something you don't want, right? Declare. So be careful.
Hey, Stephanie, make sure to stay still when you're talking. It might be your headphones breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were saying the same thing about when we claim words, right? That
Yes.
there's no distinction. The universe hears you, and whether you mean it or not, the universe goes trying to implement. And that's why you were saying, wait a second, just because you added don't in the sentence, the universe didn't distinguish do or don't. They just heard the words you said. So be very clear and be very precise with your words, but also don't be so invested with the how. And so I'll tell you how I tell my clients with strategy, because people get stopped with what they want because they start thinking about what they don't have in order to get to where they're headed. And so I'm always stopping them like, listen, your job is to know where you are in your business, in your life, in your organization, who you are, where you are. Your job is to give me some understanding of where you want to go down there. Where are you trying to get? What are the outcomes that you want? And then that's all I need from you. I have to show you the how. That's what Dr. Money does. I'm gonna get you there. I feel in that how. Same thing with God. God is not going to tell you. He's going to give you some ideas in terms of what your special gifts are, your special talents are, the things that make you happy. And then he's probably going to plant some seeds about what your possibility can be. But that's why you visualize and you start framing what you would like to experience. But you also are not micromanaging the process, because sometimes where you want to go, you have it in you, but you haven't perfected all of the skills or tools necessary to get there. So now you're going to be starting to go on a journey. You think that God is taking you, in a different direction. No, taking you every place to get you all of the tools that you're going to need so that you can effectively get to that destination. And that's how it happens. That's how it happens. And that's how you manifest it. And that's how you get to that destination. And that's your role. And so I think it's because it was like, well, the person was kind of, well, I get anxious if I say I want this, because then I'm thinking all the work I have to do. I said, stop. Nobody asked you to do that. That's God's part. Do your part and get out the way. Hopefully that was better.
That was really, really good. And then the how will come your way. So I love that whole idea of understanding, first of all, that desire that's in your heart. And a lot of times people have difficulty with that. I have a lot of clients who share, I just don't have a purpose. I didn't come out playing the violin or playing the piano. I wish I could just do one thing. I wish I could figure out my one thing. And I have a course where I go over the one thing. What's the one thing that you're going to do? When we talk about niche marketing or having one thing, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to focus on only doing one thing. The thing I do is around story. Everything I do is around storytelling. And so I work with nonprofits, I work with corporations, I work with all sorts of people, individuals doing coaching. That's my one thing. My gift is around the story. Now, I can be in the story telling you what your budget looks like. When I sit on boards and I sit on budget and finance committees, I tell the story of the money that I see the numbers, because I know how to read those numbers. That doesn't mean I'm an accountant. It doesn't mean that that's my expertise area, but I found a way to incorporate all the things I love to do with the thing that I'm really good at. And that's where you have to find that dream, that hunger that's in you. Find the skill set or the tool that you could just do with your eyes closed, that you would do, and you don't even mind doing it. You just do it, and you don't even think about it. It's just something that just happens. That is where you can build that dream and that path for the journey that you're off on. And then you figure out, what is my part in doing this? What do I have to do in order for this to manifest? And you'll be surprised. Like I said, it's not like being on this treadmill or on one of the little gerbil things where you're going around and around in circles. You actually put it out there, like Dr. Money said. Be specific with what you're putting out. And as you put that out there, it'll start coming towards you. And we have guests who are going to talk about the how to do this and the how to do that. And Dr. Money can give you some how-tos, and I can give you some how-tos. But one of the things that I wanted to gift you with today is one of my mantras that I use, or it's not even a mantra, it's actually a poem. And I read this poem at least once a week. I use quotes from it all the time, probably every single day. I will use a quote from some poem or a mantra or something that I've read. So that educating and executing is so important in being KG. But the poem that I want to read to you today is Desiderata, because this is a poem that just speaks about that stillness that you have to have inside, and that knowing that everything is open to you and that it's going to open for you. So I'm going to just share it pretty quickly with you. So the poem is called Desiderata, and it begins, go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater or lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing portions of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt, the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. And that poem is by Max Ehrman, and it was written, I believe, in 1927. So you think about the words to something like that today and how relevant they are. I mean, we look at the sham and drudgery of the world, and I'm telling you, every day I think of something from this poem, because when I think about it, I'm like, you know what? Even though we're going through all this stuff, it's still a beautiful world. People will trick you, but there's still a lot of people out there that are admirable.
Exactly.
Listen to wise counsel. There's like so much in this poem. So if you want to take something away from today in terms of finding that dream, living that dream, you can't delegate your dream. You got to find it. Nobody can do that for you. Find it in the writings of the scholars. I mean, way back when this person wrote this poetic prose and just said, look, this is a way to live. And it's really a good way to live your life and to find what that calling is in your career or in whatever you want to do in your life.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Thyonne, story genius. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I just received all the spirit of that poem, and it connects the dots to so many things that we talk about. It's so funny because before I wore this shirt, One Love, Jamaica, and I wanted to wear it again since this will be my last day broadcasting live during this series from Jamaica, because that spirit of one love, I want to bring it home with me, sprinkle it on as I can, because I feel that at this time in the US, we're not one United States of America. We're a citizenry that has many factions, and our divisions can make us vulnerable. We can literally topple our complete, America as we know it, with the kind of division that's happening. It's really how cancer different parts. And then before you know it, the US is really sick. And that's really what I think. If I were giving a prognosis, is that our country is ill and it needs some strong healing. And, instead of being the person on the sideline complaining, there's a saying, be the change that you want to see in the world. So even though I'm certain that there will be some days that I'll be challenged to look at everyone from a point of view of one love. But I understand that if that's a takeaway from this experience, and if I can challenge myself to the best of my ability to stand in that space, then I'll deliver in that space. I was explaining to someone, people always talk about, well, you didn't respect me or you didn't whatever. And you got to bring some to get some. So no, I don't just show up with respect if you didn't show up with none. But I'm going to try not to go as we've discovered money has emerged. Money, wait, funny story.
No, we're going to call it Muni and Money. I think it should be Muni and Money. Muni and Dr. Muni and Dr. Money.
It was I was walking. The locals want to sell you stuff, right? So the lady was making me another little bead to go around my belly.
Like every day, right?
Right. Then she said,
remember, you got to stay still, Stephanie, because you break up.
Okay. So then she goes, do you have anything to cut? So then I pulled out my box cutter and both of the ladies kind of took a step. Who in the hell did we just walk up on? And I was like, sometimes you just have to adjust an attitude.
Got to be prepared.
Prepared to do an attitude adjustment if need be.
Don't ask Muni if she got something to cut, because every place we went, she's like, wait a minute, do I need to pull out my... I'm like, no. And it's funny. It's really interesting the way people... now that I'm thinking about this, I have another friend that we would go out, and whenever we would go out, somebody might be talking to me, and maybe, I guess, if I look bored or whatever, she would come over like, do I need to pull out my piece? And I'm like, no, can you please stop walking around with a gun? And now Dr. Money was the same way. A fly could go by.
Box cutter.
Wait a minute. Do I need to pull out my box cutter? I'm like, why do you have a box cutter? Not even like a army knife. It's not even like a Boy Scout army knife. No, a box cutter. Like, yeah, for real?
Because that's the only way that I could justify for why I had it. I had to cut some boxes to package.
Scary. Yeah. Mooney money. I'm telling you. And we all have these different people, I think, that can show up. Let's just allow the money show up for right now. We're going to.
The one love, right? We go fight
the one love.
One love. But we will remember that, Home Chick did spend some time on the east side in the town. So
yes. Oakland. What are they?
The town.
Oaklandish, is that what they say?
We call it the town.
Okay, the town. Yeah. Now, the other thing that when you just talked about your t-shirt, the other reminder that I had in terms of manifestation. So Dr. Money and I have always talked about, oh, yes, we're going to work together. We brainstorm and do different things together where she'll help me brainstorm with some business or idea or concept that I have. I'll help her brainstorm with some idea that she may have. We both kind of just, support each other in that type of way. But a couple of years ago, we just were like, oh, let's just celebrate New Year's together. I think it was New Year's Thanksgiving.
We had a blast.
So went to her house for Thanksgiving. I made my famous deviled crabs, which everybody loves my deviled crab. And she was cooking up a storm and different people were there. We were having a good time watching the game. We took a picture.
Super Bowl party.
It was a Super Bowl party. We took a picture together. And that's what it was. It was Super Bowl. It was a Super Bowl party. It wasn't Thanksgiving. So we took a picture together, and I didn't realize until I got to Jamaica and was going through some old photos to find something for someone. And I found a photo of us with the picture together. And on her shirt, it was like Jamaica bound. It said Jamaica. I was like, oh my God, look at this. We're in Jamaica and your shirt, this is a Jamaica shirt. So I showed it to her and she was just like, oh my gosh, I remember that shirt. I have that shirt with me. She still had the shirt with her. So we forgot to take a picture in Jamaica with you with that shirt on. That's what we should have done.
Absolutely. But I think actually I had it on one of our sessions. So if we go back through the show, because I was trying to
Yeah.
clear everything with Jamaica. So we have it. We have it as part of the show. But it's
Okay.
also,
Okay.
again, talk about that visual, because see, that's the thing that people think. When you plant the seeds, when you put those visions out there, they think that you got to sit there and hold on to it and just, stronghold it. No. When you plant a seed in the soil, do you stand there and just breathe over it? No, you water it, you nurture it, but you let it go about its natural process of evolution. And so who knew? We didn't know really, but we did.
And Dr. Money has always wanted to go to Jamaica. I mean, that's her. She was already doing some business things in Jamaica, so she wanted to get back to Jamaica. But I thought it was just really interesting that it's like, hey, how did we end up in Jamaica together? Not even something we had discussed at that particular party, but it just, that visual was there. Like, wow, Jamaica. So put it out there, people.
Yes.
Find that thing that you really just desire with all your heart. Put it out there. You don't have to pray on it every single night. I tell you, sometimes this is just my imagination of God. God is up there like, okay, I heard you. I heard you the first time. You don't have to keep asking me for the same thing.
Right.
Lord Jesus, I'm just tired of hearing you ask. You ask it in different ways. Now you're confusing me. Because when we ask for something, we say it one way the first time, then another way another time, and another way and another way. God's like, whoa, can you just let me work on this? But again, if you're like me, you take things back. Lord, I'm going to lay this down at the altar. Then you're like, let me just take this little piece back right here. I'm just going to take this little one right here. I think I got this. And then, of course, we don't. So put it out there. Allow that manifestation to happen. Find your poem or your mantra or whatever it is that helps you get through. I have lots of them. I'll share more. I have another poem that I love. I love to give that to young men. It's a great, great poem. They actually have an If for girls now. There's another one, Dare to Be, Our Deepest Fear. All these different poems and writings that are already out there. You don't have to come up with anything. The Serenity Prayer, the Prayer of St. Francis. There's so much that you can hold on to help push you through. And those are the things that actually help to push you through. So use them. Use what's already there. Continue to come back and see us on the Money and Mindset Show. What's happening tomorrow?
So tomorrow, Dr. Thyonne, on the fort by yourself, as I'll be spending a day in flights. Actually, yes, I've got everything lined up, tickets, bags, stuff. So it's official. No last
For real?
Listen, my package was delivered from London. So,
okay.
From home. Oh, yeah, I'll be for real.
So there actually was a hidden message in Desiderata for Dr. Money. I'm sure she heard the message because Dr. Money can be doubtful of things that come her way as well. And so there was a little hidden message there that I was sharing with her so that she could embrace and accept everything that's coming in her life. So you go back and read Desiderata again.
Oh, you know it. I'm on it. I am on it. I am on it.
Yes, because you have to, not be so sarcastic or, you want to make sure, not even sarcastic, that's not the word, but just know that life, love, the liberty and pursuit of happiness is perennial as the grass. It's there.
Absolutely.
It's there. It comes. It may go away, but it comes back.
Yeah.
And so that was a poem for Dr. Money as well.
See, you always have me, my sister. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. So everybody that's tuning in, if you have your questions, make sure you either post them on Facebook so Story Genius can see them and be able to respond to them tomorrow. We're going to have a great show next week. I'll be back in the US. We won't have any internet problems, I don't think. I think we'll be
I
good.
don't think so. And Greg Sneed will be with us next week. He's going to do some financial literacy conversations, and we may have another surprise guest or two, because we have some surprises. We have some surprises, but we're going to see if Dr. Money will share the surprise, because Dr. Mooney will not. I will guarantee you that. Some things I know.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is so perfect. That is so perfect. Yes. Okay. You got me. You totally got me.
We got to get Dr. Money. Dr. Money. Dr. Money. We're going to have to be calling for Dr. Money, because Dr. Mooney is going to be like 8:00. She could do it on her own. I'll see her the next.
That. I receive. I receive. I've got this. I've got this.
Dr. Money got to show up next week. I don't want to hear nothing about no jet lag or none of that crap. I do not want to hear it. And all of the internet excuses are going to be gone. That's over. I'm just trying to be clear.
Receive. So thank you. So the grasshopper over here receives from the master. So thank you, master. Grasshopper receive.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you next time. See you tomorrow with some questions, some good Q&A.
Fantastic.